I can meet somebody who know how to cook and give those recipes. It's always a pleasure.
Or somebody that likes to eat, like me.
So we got Chef Kev in the building out of Charlotte. Chef,
hey,
how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing, man?
Can't complain. Absolutely. So how's Vegas been for you?
Vegas been great, man. One of the things I love about this experience and just seeing so many great people and meeting new people, especially like you guys, and it's a good vibe. I love it.
Well, it's a great vibe, man. Much appreciated, and always good to have you. And you had the opportunity to cook a lot of people, sports, entertainment. Who are some of your best clients that you've worked with?
I mean, Nipsey was probably one. Piece to Nip. He was an amazing spirit. Like, dude just was extremely encouraging, and he always like uplifted you. You know what I mean? Like, even in just regular conversation, he's always talking about something profound. So, with Nip.
So, like when you talk about all those that you cook for, so like, I see the big name.
Doctors, lawyers, executives, CEOs of companies. I mean, I don't like to rate it on bigger or little. It's just whoever my clients reach out. Yeah, that's my clientele.
So when did you start cooking?
So professional in almost 10 years.
And taking it back, what got you started? My dad was the cook of the house. In my home, I'm the chef of the house. My wife, she don't really be cooking like that. Neither did my mom. So my dad learned it from his grandma. My kind of inspired you to start cooking. How did that passion for cooking start?
It started with my grandmother. She grill expert. And it's out of distraction, sorry.
Oh yeah, it's a lot going on here. Super Bowl.
Extremely instrumental in that, and just watching her, create dishes from scratch. And she wrote by hand.
There's something that's an art that it ain't around no more.
But she loved it. She loved it. It didn't look like it felt like labor until I started doing it, and I was like, this labor is
that's what they say about grandma. I don't miss it.
Cook at the drop of a dime. Like, rest in peace to her. She really inspired.
We're out of Charlotte. Charlotte, they're known for their barbecue, if I'm not mistaken.
They're not known for barbecue. They're known for. That's where the barbecue background comes from. Like Gates having that,
Barbecue,
yes, indeed.
Good friend of the show.
Yep,
absolutely. Now
actually, it's a part of the family too. So Gates
really?
is
they get
a fillet steak with a mascarpone, mashed potatoes, and some asparagus. That's like a staple.
Oh yeah.
That's a staple with like 2 liquid ingredients. I'm not gonna give you out a recipe.
Secret recipe.
But then sometimes I sous vide it, so it allows it to cook slow. It allows it to be extremely tender, and then I sear it on the grill.
Oh man,
so that's kind of my process.
And my father, he has his own catering business as well. So and he's been in food service over 20 years. Let me see, probably 30 years. I'm 30.
Oh wow,
probably been a long time. And I know the financial aspect that goes into it. Cut costs, efficiency. You talk about the not just the cooking aspect, but the financial and the business mind that you have to have to be effective in this culinary business.
Honestly, understanding your margin, what your food costs, and what you want to make. So that's the most important thing. A lot of chefs struggle with not understanding how to price themselves, because most people don't know their worth ultimately. So you got to know, hey, this is what I'm willing to walk away with for this particular deal, and this is what I'm willing. I set minimums. So when clients book me, I have a minimum, whether I'm cooking you for one day, a wedding, an event, whatever it is, I have a minimum. So if it doesn't meet that minimum, I make exceptions every now and then, because if God leads me to just be a blessing sometimes, it always comes back tenfold. So
what was the most difficult meal you say you had to prepare on the fly?
When I was on a supermarket stakeout with Food Network, and I had to do something within 20 minutes, and I only had a certain amount of ingredients.
Yeah.
So I had to make
gumbo.
No, it wasn't gumbo. It was like a stir fry, but you basically take the ingredients from the person's basket and you have to make whatever that theme is. So that was intense.
I believe it. And my last question is, what role does cooking is passion? You're really gifted. Your gifts and talents. I'm a firm believer in, my faith. So what role does your faith play in preparing you for not just as a man, but into this profession and getting you to this level?
Well, one of the things I always say is the kitchen is my sanctuary, but for some reason, every opportunity that God has given me has been in the kitchen or through the kitchen. So I feel like God created the kitchen as a portal for opportunities. So when you walk through that with faith and you walk through that with favor, every opportunity, like even having this opportunity, I was connected with appreciate you guys. Opportunity to come to the Super Bowl and be on Radio Row, it was due to a relationship from me cooking. And that's the role faith plays in my life.
So, my last question would be like, in the terms of like how cooking has helped your mental health. How high would you rate that? That your escape just happens to be the kitchen.
So the funny part is, cooking is my biggest stressor, but it's also my biggest peace.
I love the cooking.
Because when I'm in the kitchen, if I'm having to do a lot at once, which I'm always doing, time sensitive and I gotta get it done. After I'm done, I'm like really stressed and just But then sometimes I'm like going through something.
Let me get in that kitchen.
And that's when I just create. Like sometimes it's not for a client. I'll just be like, I ask my wife, like, babe, I really been wanting Indian food. So it really is. I like the steps of going from taking something from the base and adding layers of flavor and creating something dope. So,
and lastly, what would be your advice for the up-and-coming chefs?
Number one,
especially the black ones, you know that.
Young black up-and-coming chefs, one of the things that I would always advise them to do is find a great mentor. Absolutely. Because that's what helped me. One of my mentors lives in Vegas. His name is Chef Jeff. He actually, he was in prison for like 30 years, and when he got out, all he does now is give back to prisons and speaks all over the country. Oprah propelled him when she had her show, and it just really took off. So,
man, and of course we've been talking about this food all this time. I know you have it on Instagram. Where can we see these great meals?
Go to my Instagram at Chef Kev, the number 4 real. That's where you can see a lot of my food and see a lot of the things I do.
Chef Kev, it was a pleasure. Thank you for being on.
Man, thank you guys for having me.